of Kenya.
Yes.
UDPK. And I must say that I'm a person with the stammer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Good to have you. And Bernice, you said I should pronounce it Bernice.
Or Bernice.
Or Bernice.
Yes.
Okay. Let us start it with, can you provide a few insights on how the Africa Disability Forum collaborates with initiatives such as the PFP to propel disability work on the African continent?
Okay, thank you, Alan, for the question. But before I answer your question,
yes.
Let's just look at the program overview of the PFP. So PFP actually targets a mid-level profession who works within disability inclusion.
Yes.
And for this year, we are targeting 12 mid-level professional disability professions in 4 countries, that is Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, and Ethiopia.
Yeah.
So these fellows are going to be matched with the US host organizations, but that is based on the fellows' goals and professions.
Yeah.
So during the fellowship, the fellowship actually took be 4 weeks fellowship placement, US-based fellowship placement. So during the fellowship, what will happen is that the fellows will have a follow-on project of which they'll be helped. They'll get feedback and they'll get advice from the US experts or American experts in the area that they had chosen to work on. Then after the 4 weeks fellowship, they will return back home, and when they return back home, what will happen is that they will need to implement that follow-on project that they had already started. And at the same time, like I said, PFP is a two-way exchange program. So the American hosts who had hosted the fellows can also apply to come to visit the host country to provide technical assistance. So it will be more like a technical assistant visit.
Yeah.
And this is what we call outbound structure of the PFP program. So when they come, they can help the fellows to implement the follow-on project and give them more guidance, more support, more advice on how to implement it. And this is actually a good way of continuing with the collaboration and the knowledge sharing of the program. So how do ADF come in? So ADF is a membership of disabled persons organizations in Africa.
Yeah.
So with that experience, we have members in those target countries, that is Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, and Ethiopia. At the same time, ADF has successfully implemented the similar project, that is Women with Disability Fellowship Program. And with the leverage of our network and expertise, we believe that it will lead to a success of this fellowship program, the PFP program.
I am going to be asking you a follow-up question on the work that ADF is doing across the African continent, but of course in relation to the PFP. But before we get there, Sande, you are a Spring Fellow 2023. Tell us a little bit about your experiences, and also, of course, honing into what Bernice has just said, the outbound, the going, and the experience in the 4 weeks. How was it?
Yeah, I will begin by saying that participating in the PFP was a very incredible, chance for me.
Yeah.
Which has contributed to both my personal and also my career path. And I would say participating, particularly for me, I went to Alaska.
Yeah.
And I got a chance to, participate in an in-person session for the Governors Council on persons with disabilities. And for me, getting to work with different persons from all categories of disabilities, and they are all working towards a common goal, of making sure that persons with disabilities have an equal chance to also participate. For me, that was a key lesson for me, even as I was working on my follow-on, where I was working to make sure that we have equal participation of persons with disabilities in the Kenya's budget process. So it was an eye opener for me in the journey to make sure that the disability community is not left behind. Yeah.
And on the outbound experience, how was that?
Yes, so I have to say also I was fortunate also enough to apply for the outbound, and my mentor, she's called Kelly. She had also a chance to come to Kenya, and getting also to see how the Kenyan disability movement in Kenya, in comparison now to the one in the US, works now towards the common goal of making sure that the challenges that are facing persons with the disabilities are looked into.
Yeah.
So she got a chance to also visit some of the people that we work with.
Yeah.
And for her also, she also got a chance also to learn, some of the best things that we do, that she could also learn and also take back to the US. Yeah.
Interesting. Bernice, this is where I want to bring you back into the conversation and also pick on your knowledge that you have across the African continent. What is the status of disability employment, civic engagement and education, inclusive employment and civic engagement on the African continent from a disability lens, but also particularly the 4 countries that the PFP is looking to select fellows from?
Okay. So what I can say is that one thing about PFP is that it promotes disability rights and inclusion in Africa.
Yeah.
And one thing about once the fellows come back, they're impacted with skills, knowledge, and they're able to actually implement that in their host countries. And also, once they also come back, they also have PFP actually also promotes cultural exchange, and in that the fellows actually share their the practical issues, and this actually how would I put it? Like they collaborate with others in sharing their knowledge of what they learned while they are in the US, at the same time actually implementing it in the organizations, and this helps the organizations to actually grow and actually implement best practices that they had learned. Yeah.
Okay, probably we'll also ask Sande the same question. Yeah, your take on the status of inclusive education and employment and civic engagement from your own perspective, probably from a Kenyan perspective, but also you could intertwine this with one of the memorable things that you took away from your PFP experience.
Yeah, so inclusivity, and not just in the employment sector, inclusivity in all aspects of life, for the disability community is very vital, to make sure that one, the disability community also has an equal chance to a better livelihood. So from from where I sit, the focus should it only be on disability programs alone. So, for example, in the budget area, when we are budgeting, we need to look into what are the allocations in employment sector, education sector, to make sure that the issues of the disability community are catered for across all. So we shouldn't only focus on an area, say that to get maybe assistive devices. We should focus in all.
So we should have
areas.
Sort of a 360 point of view.
And that is what I saw back in the US, that they are not limited to one certain area. They are looking at how then do they deepen access to everything for the disability community.
I am with Erick Sande. He is an alumnus of the Professional Fellows Program, and he is of the cohort of 2023, Spring 2023 cohort. And on my immediate left is Bernice Otieno, who is the communications person at the Africa Disability Forum. If you missed the first segment, Bernice told us that the Africa Disability Forum is a collective of African disability organizations, or as they're called, OPDs, organizations of persons with disabilities, but they have an interest in a national organization such as the United Disabled Persons of Kenya here in our country, and of course the likes of Nudipo in Uganda and across other African countries. Now, Bernice, before we went for the break, we were talking about how this work is important in terms of supporting disability-related work on the African continent. My next question would be, from your own perspective, what role do such programs like the PFP play in advancing disability rights and inclusion in Africa, and how can partnerships between the PFP alumni and the organization such as yours make sure that contribute to the efforts of disability inclusion?
Okay, just thank you so much, Alan, for the question. So PFP actually connects the alumni and the new alumni through a mentorship opportunity, and it is through this opportunity that actually help us in the success of the program. At the same time, the PFP impact the alumni with cross-cultural exchange, like I said, and cross-cultural exchange, and what happens is that they are able to articulate the best practices and come up with the innovations, approaches when it comes to disability rights and inclusion. And like I said, once they once they are in the fellowship, you'll find that they get more sharpened, their skills is more enhanced, and when they come back to they implement, like this, the 6-month follow-on project, they implement it. So this cultural exchange actually promotes disability rights and inclusion in the country, in those countries that are participating in the PFP. At the same time, the alumni also have their own network. So together with PFP alumni and the networks, what happens is that we can come up with campaigns, lobbying for policy, and actually advocate for best policies or best practices across all sectors, like you said, in inclusive education, in inclusive health, in all sectors. So we can come up together and come up with a campaign, lobby for those policies, and advocate for best practices across sectors.
Okay, and now Sande, you are an alumni right now. But then that does not mean that you cannot continue to contribute to the growth of the PFP community. In your own words, how are you looking to continue contributing to the PFP and what it stands for as a program?
Yeah, I'm looking towards making sure that we have continuous involvement in deepening the inclusion of persons with disabilities in all aspects of life as it is envisioned by the PFP.
Yeah.
And I will say even right now, the best practices that I picked through the PFP, I'm already putting them into practice.
Yeah.
First, as a self-disability champion, and also second, also in my own also career, working for the United Disabled Persons of Kenya. So the PFP has been very vital even in shaping the championing journey, both for myself as a person and also as my very own career, because now it has made it possible for partnerships even beyond Kenya, because the networks that we were able even to build back in the US. For example, my mentor Kelly still contributes even to the work that I'm doing back in Kenya. So that cross partnership between the US and Kenya in making sure that we address the shared challenges of both our people in both countries.
Bernice, we have spoken about the good that is in the PFP and the benefits of how PFP alumni get to benefit from the program, but we've not spoken about how do we get to apply for the PFP.
Okay, the application is still ongoing and the deadline is in May 15th of next month, I believe. May 15th at I think by midnight, that's 11:59. So interested prospective applicants can apply through our website, that is www.pfpinclusion.org. And we have our website is very much accessible, and one thing about our website is that we have all the resources. We have the resources that can enable any prospective applicants to get information. So we have a checklist of eligibility, so it's very important for the applicants to check the eligibility before applying. And we have an age limit that is between the age of 25 to 40 years. You must be a resident in Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, and Ethiopia, and you must speak proficiency in speaking English, and as well as a 2-year professional experience. And also we have a video that's it's a video and a caption that that can assist any prospective applicants to go through the application form and how to apply on. And also we have a the criteria on how the questions or the essays is being assessed. So all that is accessible in our website. At the same time, we've been having virtual information, and virtual information is actually very important because in the virtual information we have our alumni, they share the experience, they share also their application experience. And if any prospective applicant has an interest in one area or one policy issue, he or she can also gain knowledge on how to go about it. At the same time, in our website we have the bios of all the alumni and also their follow-on project on what they did and also the experience. So to get also inspired, you can also read their bios, and if you find an area that maybe you are interested in applying, you can. One thing that most people forget is to do their research. You need to do your research on the area, on the problem issue, and what scholars have talked about. What is the practicals, the practices that is going on, and how best can you find solution for that? So you find the missing information or the missing link that you are formulate your own follow-on project. Yes.
Sande, how was your application process? Because I hear sometimes it's a little bit tedious, and PFP is very rigorous when it comes to selecting our fellows. How was your experience like?
So for me, I would say I was committed to the course because one, the PFP is looking for a person, first of all, who is passionate about including the disability community. So you need to have a passion that is driving you, and you also need to have been working also around ensuring that persons with disabilities, the challenges that they face in their daily lives are looked into. So when you are intentional of what you need to do, and when it is clear in your mind that this is what you have been looking to address within your community, then the application process will not seem tedious to you, because you already have a picture in your mind, and you also have passion that is driving you now to address some of these pertinent challenges that are facing the disability community.
Country to US to your home country, so we can able to provide reasonable accommodation for you. So the application is open for everyone, both persons with disability and persons without disability. All we are looking for is to mold future disability rights advocates.
All right, we come to the end of, and as we're winding up, Bernice, what is your last word?
My last word is that we need disability rights and inclusion in Africa, and the best way we can do that is by knowledge sharing, and knowledge sharing that is through exchange, and being able to put into practice the best practices across all sectors, not just one sector but across all sectors, and that we need to have an inclusive society.
Yes.
Yeah, for me, my take home is the possibilities that are there, that have been made, possible by PFP, in order to for us to have a collaborative cooperation between for example, now between Kenya and and these are collaboration are centered around finding the shared solutions to address some of the pertinent issues facing the disability So for me is just to encourage our young people with disabilities in Kenya that this is a very rare chance for us to be part of the solutions to the ailing challenges facing not only us, but we are also find solutions for the next generations of persons with this, and those will be our children. So it has made it possible for the partnership in finding solutions around all this by cooperating with both the disability movement in Kenya and also in the
Amazing. Thank you very much, lady and gentlemen, for making time for this conversation. And I hope that you, dear viewer, you have gotten information on how you can apply for the PFP. And just if I could take you through some of the key things that Bernice and Erick have shared. One, you can head over to www.pfpinclusion.org to find to do your application. And the website also has got a number and a mirage of resources that can help you to be able to go through the entire application process. Which I find most fascinating is a resource center where there are bios of previous PFP participants, which will encourage you to be able to apply for the PFP seamlessly. But also they have told you that if you get lucky to become a PFP alumni, then you are going to have an opportunity to disability movement both in the United States, and if you apply for the outbound program and you get it, then your mentor to come to Kenya or to your African country to get to also experience the disability movement. And as Sande has said, that cross-culture experience and exchange is very important, and he has said he is a 2023 spring alumni, that this is 2024, and still he is in contact with his mentor, and they are still working together to champion disability inclusion. Remember, if you are from Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, and Ethiopia, you are eligible for this particular program. You can be a person with a disability or with, but Sande has said, as long as you have the passion for disability inclusion, then the PFP is looking for you. Sign language interpreter Jitida Wafula. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.